You good?
Yeah.
All right. Welcome everyone to Platinum City live stream. Michael Gambardella,
Yeah.
Paul Leverone. Man, I hate the sound of my voice.
Okay.
Today we will be talking about NFL, basically the entire offseason, and some early predictions for next season, as well as ranking the best team in every NFL division. So, Paul, let's begin with something near and dear to your heart.
Aaron Rodgers.
What team is he playing for next season?
Broncos is definitely a top one. Steelers, maybe. I don't really think.
We'll get to that one more in a second.
Yeah. But that's pretty much it. Unless he stays with Green Bay.
I would also put the Titans. If the Titans want to compete for Super Bowl, Ryan Tannehill is not the option.
They have a good team, and just their
They
quarterback is.
have the team, but my problem was all year. Derrick Henry went down, and they couldn't adapt. They still wanted to rush for 150 yards every game, and they couldn't. They need a passing game, and Tannehill can't give it to them.
I think they still adapted because they still
But
took number one seed.
But they beat up on teams that didn't make the playoffs. They faced the Steelers, who were, I think, on a 3-game losing streak at that point, if I remember correctly, and they lost. They didn't beat anybody notable in that time. Their wins against the Chiefs were early in the season. Buffalo was early in the season. They didn't beat any good teams late. So what would be your final? What's your final pick
For Aaron Rodgers?
for Aaron Rodgers' team next year?
I think the Broncos is going to pick up Aaron Rodgers.
I have to say Broncos because I don't think he stays.
Because their offensive coordinator, I forgot his name, also went to the Broncos.
Nathaniel Hackett.
Yes.
I think if he was going to stay, he would have said it by now.
Yeah.
He hasn't said anything that he's going to stay yet. I mean, the league year starts in 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
His season ended a month and a half ago. He would have said, I'm staying by now, if he was going to stay.
Yeah.
All right, you mentioned the Steelers as a destination. That's a team a little bit more near and dear to my heart, team of black and gold. Who is their quarterback one on week 1 of next season?
So who's in the air right now as a
Every name has been put out there because the Steelers are a fairly complete team with the exception of quarterback.
No way
But
Russell Wilson takes on.
Russell Wilson, no. Honestly, the more time goes on with Russell Wilson, I think he's just going to stay in Seattle. But obviously Mason Rudolph, Dwayne Haskins, because they're on the team right now.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers' name has been out there. Jimmy Garoppolo's name has been out there. Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins I've seen floated out. Matt Ryan I've seen. I don't know how realistic Matt Ryan is.
Yeah.
But those are kind of the names everybody's talking about.
Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz, I haven't seen anything. I haven't read anything on it yet. But the Colts only made it clear a couple days ago that they were going to move on from him. So I don't rule that out going forward.
So who would pick up Carson Wentz? That's another question.
I think the Steelers would be a candidate.
Would Cardinals pick him up since Murray's?
Kyler's going to stay. I think he's going to stay, sign an extension before the draft, and by week 1 we're going to forget he was ever even a thought that he was going to leave. Steelers could go. I've said for a few months now, I like the idea of Garoppolo.
Yeah, I think Jimmy G is going to the Buccaneers.
They just do. I think Tom Brady's going to be on the 49ers next year. So they just do pretty much a trade.
Yeah.
Give you Tom Brady for Jimmy Garoppolo straight up.
No, Brady's gone. I don't think he's coming back.
I think he's coming back.
I don't know.
He said on his podcast 3 days after he retired, never say never. He's going to be on the team week 1. Garoppolo. I've also said, I know it's not a long-term answer, but a Jacoby Brissett, I always thought had a lot of talent and just never got a chance to compete on Colts teams that were, let's be honest here, terrible.
Yeah.
and Patriots teams that he was never going to start on with Tom Brady.
Dude, that's another upcoming team is the Patriots.
It's hard to say up and coming. They've won 6 Super Bowls in 20 years.
Yeah. Well, with Mac Jones,
It's a resurgent team. We'll get more on that later.
yeah.
I know I've made it clear. I don't think they should draft somebody. Or draft somebody in the first round and
Yeah.
start them. Because you draft a quarterback in the first round, you're starting over with your team.
Yeah. Pretty much.
This team could compete next year. This team could make a playoff run.
That is.
They have offensive line problems, but look around the rest of the team. You have wide receivers, you have the running back, you have a tight end. On defense, you have the best defensive player in the league.
Yes, sir.
Linebacker, you got questions. But your secondary, you have good safeties. Corner, you got to fix. But this team is 3 players away
Yeah.
from being a Super Bowl contender. They're a good lineman, a good corner, and a quarterback away.
The most important role, QB.
I'd argue offensive line.
Really?
You can be bad with a good quarterback. You can't be good with a bad line.
True. Look at Russell Wilson.
Look at Russell Wilson. And there's a reason Russell Wilson hasn't won a playoff game in 5 years. No offense, Russell Wilson.
Should we talk about the division leaders?
We'll do that later. You haven't made an official pick yet.
For Steelers?
Yeah, that's why we're here. You got to make an official pick. Who do you think it will be?
I don't know, man.
Sitting right here on March 1st. Who do you think it is?
Give me some options.
Everybody we just talked about. Aaron Rodgers, Jimmy Garoppolo, Carson Wentz, Jacoby Brissett, Derek Carr, Dwayne Haskins, Mason Rudolph. Pick somebody.
Dude, I don't see any of them other than Carson Wentz. Rodgers, Jimmy G's not going. Jimmy G might.
He has to go. They gave up 3 first-round picks for Trey Lance.
Yeah, and they haven't used them.
They have to play Lance at some point.
Yeah. Carson Wentz or Jimmy G. That's my.
I think Carson Wentz would really keep that Big Ben spirit alive if he's either throwing 500 yards or 5 interceptions today.
You either throw a game or save the game.
You're either winning this game or you're going to be the reason we lose it. I'm going to say Dwayne Haskins. Followed the Steelers for many years. The Steeler move is go with the guy in-house, and then next year look at the draft. I don't know what's coming out in the draft next year, but that is the Steeler move, is draft the guy, let him sit for a year, and develop. And also, Dwayne Haskins, he was a first-round pick 2 years ago for a reason. 3 years ago. I think there's talent. He was set up to fail in Washington with whatever the team name is now. I'm just going to call him the football team. He was set up to fail. In 14 starts, he had 4 offensive coordinators.
That's a lot.
How are you going to get comfortable with anybody?
True.
The only regular weapon he had was Terry McLaurin. Offensive line was a mess. The whole team was a mess, really. So maybe I would not be surprised if he comes out next year and he plays well.
Okay. Solid.
I'm not saying he'll come out and be an MVP. I really doubt that. But I wouldn't be surprised if he comes out and he's 9-8, 10-7.
Okay.
Shows up in a couple of big games that they'll have next year with Tampa, New Orleans, New England. I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up in those games. I'm not saying he'll win all those games.
Yeah.
But somebody not on the roster, if I had to pick, Jimmy Garoppolo.
And Trey Lance for 49ers.
They have to use him this year. This is year 2. This is year 2. They only used him in the Lamar Jackson rookie role last year, where he's only in for a trick play here and there.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe Trey Lance is the next Lamar Jackson. Not likely.
That's Huntley.
Stop talking about Tyler Huntley. Tyler Huntley's been in the league for like 6 years, and he just broke it. He's like Nick. He's Nick Foles just without the Super Bowl.
And those games he played, they did pretty well.
On one of the best coach teams in the league, one of the best drafting teams in the league.
Yeah.
I'm serious. A team of Ravens backups could beat some starters.
Team. Ravens were injured all year.
The Ravens draft so well. Their depth is so good. A team of backup Ravens players could beat at least 5 starting teams in the NFL.
Yeah. The Bears, got one.
The Bears, the Jaguars, the Jets. I mean, you, me, and 9 friends could probably beat the Jets. But I'll put the Raiders in there because they're such a mess. The way Seattle looked late last year.
Dude, the Raiders, I don't know. I feel like they can be good, but like they can be like.
The Raiders' problem is if they wanted to be good, they had the coach for it.
Yeah.
Rich Bisaccia took you to the play. They were 3-4, I think, when he took over, after John Gruden had his emails.
Dude, Derek Carr and Renfro carried that team.
They did. And Darren Waller. You got to throw his name out there.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Another subject near to your heart. Where's Devontae Adams play next year?
There's a lot of teams that's missing receivers. Like, Broncos might just take both, but they already have a stacked team, so they don't really need them. Raiders, I've been saying
Raiders?
yes for so long because they just lost 2 receivers, I think. So they in desperate need. Then can't really think of any other teams that need receivers like that bad.
I got
The
a few.
Bears.
I don't think he goes in division to an unproven quarterback, though.
Yeah.
He's near 30. He knows it's coming towards the end, and he's going to want to win. Going to a team with an unproven quarterback, no matter how much I believe in Justin Fields, he is unproven.
Yeah.
So I understand if he doesn't want to take that risk.
I also been saying Chargers, but they already have, like you said yesterday.
But they lose Mike Williams. They have the cap space. Do they just go for it now with Herbert on his rookie deal?
I think so, yes. I think they would make playoffs if they pick up Devontae.
I think the Chargers are going to make the playoffs either way.
No.
I got a couple more teams I'll throw out there. I've said Buffalo for a couple weeks.
Allen Adams?
Allen Adams and Diggs.
Yeah.
Good luck. Cleveland needs receivers now.
But no, what QB do they have?
That is a good point.
Like you said, Devontae doesn't want to go on a trash team.
Nah, Baltimore wouldn't do it. Cincinnati can't fit him. Pittsburgh now. What about the Colts?
Yeah, but depends who's leading that team.
That's true. I think the Colts are a team that'll draft somebody.
They already have the running back role. They just need receiver and QB.
They need a bit more than that. Their offensive line.
Yeah.
Quentin Nelson's great, and the tackle, I forgot his name. They have 2 out of 5 pieces down on the offensive line.
Yeah.
I think the Colts are a good team for Brissett was already there. Maybe a Garoppolo or a Cousins. You just go there. He won't lose any games, but he's not going to win you any games.
They just missed playoffs, right?
Yeah, they got embarrassed. They had a win-in scenario against Jacksonville, and they got destroyed by Jackson. What about Devontae to Jacksonville? Didn't even think about that.
Oh, that could be good. Alright, yeah, I'm down with that. Let's see, Lawrence.
I think Jacksonville, between Adams and the other big receiver, Chris Godwin,
Yes.
I think Jacksonville gets 1.
Yeah, they definitely need.
I would be shocked if they didn't get 1.
Yeah.
What about the Giants?
I don't know. Danny Dimes.
They already said they're going to stick with him.
That, could they be good with Adams?
Adams alone wouldn't make them good, but I think bringing him in, you don't have to take now a receiver in one of the first 3 rounds.
Yeah.
You can look at just your defense and get a corner and get a linebacker. I don't know what's out there. I haven't looked too much into the draft yet, but I know there is supposedly a lot of good corners. You can look for a couple of them, maybe take double up at corner in the mid rounds instead of taking one early.
Should we discuss drafts order?
I haven't looked enough into the draft yet to know what I'm talking about. What about Devontae on Arizona with Murray and Hopkins?
No.
No?
They already have, like, good.
But they're losing Christian Kirk. Zach Ertz is a free agent. I don't know if they keep him. Their running game is...
Connor, still. He can catch.
Don't do what Pittsburgh did with James Conner. James Conner is best as a bruising back. Don't use him. Don't try to make him a 3-down back.
Yeah.
Don't make him a 400-touch, 1,800-yard from scrimmage guy. He's not that. Honestly, I think Devontae's going to go to Buffalo.
I will say my final pick, Raiders.
Okay. I wouldn't be too surprised at that. Talked about Aaron Rodgers earlier.
Yes.
I'm sure that'll be your pick. Who's the best quarterback in the league?
It has to be either Mahomes or Allen.
My pick's Josh Allen.
Yeah. But that shootout game and playoffs could be Allen.
I mean, I believe if Josh Allen wins that coin toss, Bills don't lose to Cincinnati. I think the Bills won the Super Bowl.
There's been a couple games from the Bills where they haven't failed a drive.
Yeah. The guy I watched against Patriots in the wild card game is one of the most talented players I've ever watched.
Yes. He almost made it.
He almost made it, and I think he is going to win before he retires.
Yes.
I don't know how hot a take that is at this point. I said that when he was coming out in the draft too. I had Josh Allen and Josh Rosen were my 2 QBs, and I missed on Rosen really bad. All right, what's your top 5? We're gonna have very different top 5s.
QBs?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Allen, Mahomes, Rodgers. I have to be missing one, like, in between them. Are we talking about stats or talent?
Talent. Like if you were starting a team today and you could have any player in their prime, who would a 5 you're picking?
There's Burrow. I think he's the top 5. Then Stafford, nah. He could be.
Stafford, you can't argue Stafford's talent, but it just took so long.
Yeah, especially Lions to Bengals.
Wow.
You finally won, though. All right.
My problem with Joe Burrow is I have no issue saying in 5 years Josh Allen's still going to be a top 3 quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
I don't know if Burrow is. I don't
Hopefully-
trust the Bengals.
Hopefully the Bengals is not that one team where they do amazing one year and just flop the next.
Every year there's that team, though, and I even said during the season, there might be that team this year.
Yeah.
You know, think last few years, the Bears, the Jaguars before them. Every year there's that team.
Yeah.
I don't really know who it was this year. I feel like, I guess Washington.
Cardinals would mid-flip.
Well, the
regular
Cardinals really have 2 seasons in one. They have their dominant start, and then they have their absolute chaos finish.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, Seattle. Everybody thought Seattle would be good. They weren't.
No. Well, Russell Wilson got injured, so.
He only missed 3 games.
Yeah. But
And even
do
when
you
he
think
played, I think they were like 5-9. Like Seattle just wasn't a good team.
he came back to 17-0 against the Packers. You already know.
I think Seattle's just not a very good team. All right, who's 4 and 5?
I keep Burrow 4. Then the 5th spot. Murray? No.
Top 10, not top 5.
Yeah. I'm missing someone. I know I am. I can't think of.
Just name somebody.
I think up and coming, Stafford is going to be top 5.
Up and coming. He's 33.
Yeah,
He's not really
next,
up and coming.
Next year.
All right. Top 5. Allen, Mahomes, Herbert. I'm sold
He
on
hasn't
Josh.
shown anything yet. I don't think. Other than those Hail Marys.
We're on camera.
Yeah.
Did you just say that?
Yeah. What has he
This
shown?
man beat Patrick Mahomes twice. He outgunned Patrick Mahomes twice.
Was that early season though?
It was early, yeah.
Yeah.
But
You can't really count that.
he beat Patrick Mahomes.
Jordan Love almost beat Patty Mahomes.
That was when?
Week. I don't know what week it was, but it was a 3-point fucking game. Oh, sorry, 3-point game.
If I'm remembering correctly, though, L.A. just like beat him by like comfortably. It was like I think 10 plus points they beat him by. I hope to God Justin Herbert doesn't have his career wasted like Phillip Rivers.
Alright. Then what? What's next?
After Herbert, I'll say Jackson. I know he's off injury.
I'm gonna give my take on Jackson. I think he's one of the most overrated QBs in the NFL right now.
I agree with that. But I think he is also overrated doesn't mean bad.
Yes, but
I think the Packers are an overrated team. I'm not saying the
Yeah.
Packers are a bad team. No offense.
uh,
The Steelers are an overrated team too. They got like
I need to see Jackson in the playoffs. That's what I need to see.
that is a fair argument.
He hasn't shown me what he's like in the playoffs.
By that same argument, I want to see Aaron Rodgers win in the playoffs though.
True.
His last
One
play.
for 5
When
drives.
was his last playoff win? 2017.
No. Are you talking about the?
Rodgers. When did he last?
Win a
Oh yeah,
playoff
he
game?
lost the NFC title. Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
Against Tom Brady.
But who did he beat that? Didn't he beat like a phony team? Wasn't it like Minnesota?
No. The 2019, 2020. Which one?
Either year. I feel like he beat phony teams both years.
Well, we didn't. I don't remember. I know 49ers reversed last year. I think, right? No, that was 2 years ago.
Well, 2018 you lost to San Francisco
Yeah.
in the title game, and then last year you lost to them in the wild card round or division round. Last year you lost to Tampa.
This year, 49ers.
Yeah, who did he beat the year they lost to Tampa though? I think it was Minnesota. Or was it Jared Goff? Which I also don't know how much stock I'd put in that win.
Can't see the. I don't know. Let's move on.
It's whatever. Rodgers would be 5 for me.
Yeah. He just chokes every year.
He does, and I said it even at the time. I don't care about special teams. He in a playoff game,
Yeah.
his biggest game of the season,
He had.
he threw this many
One-
touchdowns.
Yeah.
He threw as many touchdowns as you did,
Yeah.
and you didn't play.
A.J. Dillon got the only touchdown.
A.J. Dillon had your only offensive touchdown.
Yes. And out of those 5 or 4 drives.
And I know Garoppolo didn't have any touchdowns either. I'm not arguing Garoppolo's the best
Yeah.
player in the league.
That game was so lucky. But
It was, but it's part of it.
yeah.
All right. What's the best team in every NFL division?
Okay.
AFC East. I know all the divisions. Don't worry.
Bills.
Bills, Patriots,
Yeah.
Dolphins, Jets. I think it's the Bills, clearly.
Depends. Yeah. Bills is obviously, but there could be a toss-up.
What's the
Patriots.
worst team in that division? Between Miami and the Jets, what's the worst team?
Jets, 100%.
Really?
Yes. Dolphins made a comeback late season, even though they won like 6 in a row, I think. Even though they didn't make the playoffs.
But I think they just lost the reason they were good. They fired Brian Flores. and I don't look at Miami outside of Xavier Howard and Byron Murphy and think, this team's really talented. This team would be good with anybody as coach.
Yeah.
I can't name a starting player in that front seven. I think without Flores' schemes, that team's going to get destroyed by the run this
I know
year.
Parker.
He's a receiver.
Yeah. Like that's the only player
I also believe in Zach Wilson more than Tua. I might pick the Dolphins as the worst.
I haven't watched a single Dolphins game this year.
I might pick the Dolphins as the worst team in that division, and I have no faith in the Jets.
They're both terrible, but I think.
I think they'll both be picking in the top 5 next draft.
I think Jets for me is the worst.
You know what? I'll still pick the Jets, but I would not be shocked if 6 months from now. Not 6 months from 8 months from now, the Dolphins are the worst team.
Yeah.
AFC North, which is an interesting one.
Yeah.
Because 3 teams don't have a quarterback. Well, the Ravens have a contract question.
Yeah.
Cincinnati, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Cleveland.
Yeah.
Who's the best and worst team?
Best right now? Let's see. It's definitely Bengals. They're going to own that division.
I'm still picking Baltimore.
Really? I think Bengals own that division.
I think
for
the Bengals.
A couple years.
I think the Bengals got hot at the right time. Pittsburgh was falling apart. Cleveland's been a mess. Baltimore was injured.
This one's pretty obvious. Cleveland worse.
Cleveland's the worst. That's not even a question to me.
Bengals best.
Yeah. I'm picking Cleveland worst, Ravens best. AFC South, I feel another fairly easy one. Tennessee, Indianapolis, Houston, Jacksonville.
Yeah. Well, Tennessee.
Tennessee's the best.
Yeah.
And I'm going to pick Houston. Houston's the worst.
Yeah.
I don't even think that's a
100%.
question. Trevor Lawrence alone is more talented than Houston's entire
Yeah.
offense. AFC West, this is also an obvious one.
Yeah.
Chiefs,
Chiefs,
Chargers,
yeah.
Broncos, Raiders.
Yeah.
Chiefs. Raiders. Chiefs, Raiders.
Yeah.
NFC East. This is the toughest one because they're all bad.
Yeah.
Cowboys, Giants, Eagles, Washington football team.
Let's see. Best? That is next year. Who would be the best? So, I already forgot.
Obviously, this is all subject to change based on how the first 3 weeks of free agency go.
I think Cowboys is going to take it again.
You know what? I'm going to come way out of left field here. I think the Giants win it next year.
I kind of see that.
Brian Daboll comes over from Buffalo. He brought Buffalo's assistant GM with him to be the Giants GM. I wouldn't be shocked if they turned it around. I'm going to pick the Giants as the best team, and I think they'll win it next year. And I think Philly's the worst.
Yeah.
Because there's no extraordinary talent on Philly.
Yeah.
Washington, you got Chase Young, who I think is a generational player. And Dallas, you got Dak, Zeke, Amari, Michael Gallup, C.D. Lamb.
So, Cowboys, Eagles.
Giants. Yeah, are you picking the Eagles as the worst too?
Yeah.
NFC North, and I'm going to throw the interesting caveat in. Aaron Rodgers leaves the Packers.
Yes, we're counting that.
Packers, Vikings, Bears, Lions.
It's gonna be Vikings.
I'm going Super Bowl here. I believe in Dan Campbell.
The
I think Detroit wins their first division title in like 70 years. I think it is. And I think the Bears are the worst just because they're the least talented.
I think Green Bay becomes the worst.
It depends how Green Bay reacts to Rodgers leaving. Do they just say, okay, that's it, trade Aaron Jones, Jair Alexander, David Bakhtiari? Do they just let everybody go
I think
and completely rebuild with Jordan Love?
I want to see Jordan Love out on that field again.
I think Detroit, if Rodgers leaves, I think Detroit wins. I think Detroit would win it.
Is Cousins staying on?
Cousins going to stay, I think.
Okay. I'm going Vikings, then Lions or Packers.
I think the Bears are the worst team just because the Bears have been the same for 5 years. Khalil Mack's the best player. I don't even know who the second best player is. Allen Robinson's gone.
I think Bears surprise next year.
Who did the Bears hire as coach? Because I want to see them work with Fields first.
I don't remember.
I think Dan Campbell is a special coach in Detroit.
Yes.
There's a reason. It takes a special leader, a special coach,
I think
for a team to be 0-9 and still believe in a coach.
I think they become top 2 maybe. I don't know.
NFC South. This is interesting because Tom Brady just left, so there's not a clear one in that division. Tampa, New Orleans, Atlanta, Carolina.
I think the Saints.
Really?
Best. Yeah, next year, unless Buccaneers pick up a good QB.
I think the Buccaneers are still the best team.
Honestly,
Honestly.
I want the Saints to win that division.
How many teams in that division are one player away?
Uh,
Atlanta needs an entire new defense.
yeah. Buccaneers.
Carolina needs an entire new offensive line.
And
New Orleans is a few players away, I
If
feel.
Winston didn't get injured, how do you think the Saints would have?
I think they would have made the playoffs.
I think Saints become the number 1 in that division next year.
I think it depends how the offseason goes. Who do they start next year?
Yeah.
Do Sean Payton just retired? Do the Saints completely reshuffle the deck? New quarterback, new coach, new everything.
No.
Or, well, we know they promoted defensive coordinator. Forgot his name. But their new head coach was a part of the team with Sean Payton.
Yeah.
I think Atlanta's clearly the worst.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like Carolina has a ceiling. I think Carolina, they started 3-0. They were playing well, and then Sam Darnold became Sam Darnold.
Cam Newton came back. Cam Newton.
I'm done with Cam Newton. I think Cam Newton just should retire. He even when he got cut by the Patriots, I wasn't too surprised. He was terrible. In that full season, 4,000 yards is considered a good mark for a quarterback. He didn't break 3,000.
Yeah.
He had 8 touchdowns and 15 interceptions.
50.
That is the opposite ratio you want.
Okay.
I think Atlanta's the worst.
Yeah, that's obvious.
All right. Last one for today. NFC West. San Francisco, LA, Seattle, Arizona. Who's the best? Who's the worst?
Next year, without Jimmy G, how would Trey Lance do? Say he does decent. I still think they're gonna take that. I don't think there's a upcoming team in that division.
Rams just won a Super Bowl.
Oh. No. All right, Rams. I'm sorry. Rams.
I think the Rams are the best.
Forgot about them.
And I think Seattle's the worst because what do you got outside of a quarterback?
Yeah. Well, oh man. I know a Seattle fan.
I mean, San Francisco does. They still have good players. They still have a great offensive line. They still have Nick Bosa, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel. They have good running backs. And Arizona still has Kyler Murray, who I think is one of the most talented players in the league.
Rams top. I forgot about them.
Rams are the best.
Then
Seattle's the worst.
Yeah.
All right. End stream.
Randy?
Yeah. Was it you? I thought they were shot.